Alright, so welcome back, guys. If it's your first time here, I'm Vision Hero Bar Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today, bringing you guys my review for Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 7, The Portrait. Now, Fear the Walking Dead is something you're interested in. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon, then miss more Fear the Walking Dead content from me moving forward. Now, let's begin. So, we are now at the penultimate episode for the first half of Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 7, The Portrait. Now, this is a very interesting episode. I'm kind of mixed on how I feel about it. It was good, but it also had some things that I wasn't totally great about. But let's get into it. So we got to start off of this episode with Strand posing for a portrait, and it pretty much shows the passing of time as this woman paints this photo of him. That's where the kind of the portrait title comes into place, because it starts off with this woman painting a portrait of Strand. Definitely makes sense. Very Strand-esque of the character to have this being done. Now we also, in the midst of this, we also get to see like a day-to-day life of the tower kind of thing, as you got Howard, who continuously brings in this phone to Strand as people called to get admission into the tower, and over time, Strand just keeps saying no, 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 no. And there's a funny thing. I find it interesting, because I'll talk about this one character, Arnold, who we see later on in the episode, how he mentions, "Oh, I'm a carpenter," and Sharon's like, "Oh, well, we already got a person in there." And when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, wait, you let a painter into your tower, which of course he wants a painted made of himself, so yeah, of course. But survivalist thinking is, you let a painter in there, and you're going to let a carpenter go. I mean, Strand's reasoning is, oh, we have another carpenter already here. Now, my thinking is, well, it's the apocalypse. What happens if that carpenter dies? Like, I say it's one of those things where you should always have more than just one person there. Like, it just, to me, makes sense in that aspect. It kind of sounds stupid just to, oh, well, we have a carpenter. We won't be needing anybody else who knows that skill. Okay, oh, let's go out for a run. Oh, that guy gets shot. We don't have a carpenter anymore. And it just comes off as kind of stupid. But that's besides the point. But eventually he got a call, which is Morgan with baby Mo, and he says that she's sick and asks for permission into the tower. However, Strand first denies entrance. However, later on, he does change his mind and let Morgan and Mo in. Now, once inside, because there's what I like going back and forth, if baby Mo is really sick, or Morgan just used it as a ruse to get into the tower. However, it's revealed that through June that, yeah, she's sick. She got a double ear infection, which could have caused her to go deaf later on down the road. So, that was the truth and everything. You got Morgan, who sits down with Strand finally. Strand says he needs to ask for a test for him to do a task for him. However, they don't get very far, because you got a walker launched through the roof, or through the window, and attacks. They're able to defend it off, and they're able to throw it back out, much to their shock. Now, I want to mention before this, though, because I skipped over this, though, they do sit down and have a drink and start to have a conversation, but like I said, but that was interrupted by the Swalker. So they go up to the roof, and it's revealed that the person who launched this is Arnold and a group of his survivors. They're the Stalkers. So we finally get a confrontation with the Stalkers, who have arrived at the tower demanding entrance. And they, Strand, of course, says, no, I'm trusting my instincts. I'm not letting you in. However, Arnold tells him he's got a ticking clock. He only has an hour to surrender and let his people into the tower, or he's going to start launching walkers into him at the tower, who also have been, I guess, pinned with parts of the warhead that we saw in the previous episode. So that's why they took the warhead, and that was what their plan was to use it to demand access in the tower. And I guess they had the warhead stripped down and stuck parts and pieces of it into these walkers. So once they're catapulted into the tower, they go off and contaminate the area, which is actually a very smart idea, very interesting idea, something different, which I actually really like that they did something different here. And you got Strand, who's given this order. Strand goes down to talk it to figure out what to do next. And in the midst of this, I shouldn't say goes in to talk about this, but as he tells him to go, like, pretty much F off, he ends up doubling over in, like, pain and everything. and it's revealed later on that I guess he's been poisoned, and they're trying to figure out who poisoned him. Now, I really liked it. It was a good game of like who done it in this episode. I always kind of like it when they do those things, especially with this one, because for who it's revealed later on. But I feel like it was a very interesting aspect, because at first I thought it was maybe the painter, because of how like Strand pretty much pissed her off at the beginning of the episode. Maybe she got pissed off again at him, and this is her getting her back for what he did. Then I thought maybe it was Strand who poisoned himself, thinking that this will prove that and say that Morgan poisoned him as a way to show people, look, Morgan's evil. He tried to poison me. So I thought that was originally the plan. However, it is revealed later on that it was indeed Morgan who poisoned him. He didn't set Morgan up. Morgan did indeed poison him. But I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to mention that here, but going to come back to that. But they need to figure out a way to combat the stalkers and, save their people. And you got Morgan who says, look, let me go down, radio to Grace and Sarah. They'll come and provide helping, negotiate everything and take care of everything. Of course, you got Victor who says no, he's not doing anything. He's trusting his instincts again. Now, meanwhile, on the roof of the tower, you got JD and Wendell who are monitoring the situation. And in the midst of this, you got the stalkers who compel another walker at the building. Strand questions why this is, and Arnold says it's in retaliation for putting JD and Wendell at the roof of the tower, and to remove I guess the guards and people that are watching them. So they do that. Now you got Strand who's got pretty much at this point gone paranoid. He doesn't trust anybody. He thinks that Howard has betrayed him. He turns on JD and June, thinking that they lied to him about the stalkers. He even goes as far as to turn on Wendell, accidentally revealing that Sarah's alive, much to Wendell's shock. So he pretty much goes insane. At this point, he decides to go with Morgan's plan, using Mo to get what he wants, and has Morgan go down to the armory to talk with Grayson and get Grace's help. However, you got Morgan who says he's gonna go down. He doesn't trust Strand. Strand says he's got Mo, so he can trust. So he'll hold on to Mo, and Morgan knows that as long as he threatens that if Victor does anything to Mo, he'll kill Victor. So I really liked how you use Mo as like a leverage for Strand. At the end of the day, though, however, you got Strand who is forced to hand Mo down to Morgan as a way of, because you got Strand who's been poisoned, and they're afraid if he dies, then he might turn and attack Mo. So they do that. So he is forced to abandon or surrender Mo to Morgan. However, one thing I did like here is you got Strand talking about his father and his connection with his father. And again, I feel like there's a very big kind of theme of family going on here, and I'm gonna bring that up later towards the end of this review. But you got them who lower baby Mo down. Now, there is a little tension there because you got like a walker nearby. Now, I know there are people who have argued, like, why didn't they just cut out Walker? I mean, they just needed some kind of like tension there, like an edge of your seat thing. I know fans don't really kind of know that already and think it's stupid. I agree. But it's there. I mean, they had to have something there in a way just to make it, more edge on your seat kind of thing. But at the end of the day, it didn't really need to be there. But you got Strand who hands Mo back over to Morgan. They go off to get help, and Strand passes out. Now Strand wakes up again, reunites with Morgan, who informs him that the stalkers have been repelled. Everything's pretty much resolved, and everybody's been fine and everybody's been safe. They have a little chat about everything. And now we turn the chat over to Alicia, because Strand had told Morgan to find Alicia because he knows that Alicia wouldn't want to see him in the state of what he's done. So you got Morgan who said he will find Alicia for him. And in the midst of the conversation this time, you got Strand who realizes Morgan has something on his hand. And that's when he realizes that Morgan is the one who poisoned him by putting something in his drink. So you got that reveal. They two of them gotta get into a fight, but Howard breaks up and they bring Morgan off up to the roof to pretty much throw him down and kill him, similar to what they did with Will in the premiere. So you got them on the roof. They're about to throw Morgan off the roof, and before they can even do that, however, you got the phone who starts ringing. Now, when I first heard the phone ringing, I thought it was going to be Alicia. And this is something that was going to happen where Strand is forced to finally face Alicia in this way. But it turns out to be Grace, who says that she's going to trade she's going to trade her life for Morgan's life because she needs to help. Strand needs help because the walkers that were left behind by Arnold are infected, and that they will, if not taken care of, they will pretty much destroy his tower. At which point Strand reluctantly agrees, surrenders Morgan gives Morgan up and forces Grace to move into the tower, living by everybody else's rules. And that's pretty much where the tower storyline ends. There is a moment where you got Strand who is looking at his portrait. Now, he threw his portrait off the roof earlier on in the episode, and walkers came and walked all over it and destroyed it. Now, this time that he's retrieved it, it's hanging up there on the wall, and only his face is really left, and he says this is how people need to see him. And while he's talking to Howard, he also tells Howard to bring Mo to him, as I guess like he's going to be her new surrogate father. Now, this is where I want to talk about the ideology of family, because you had that brought up of multiple times of different characters within the season so far, whether it be Dwight and Sherry, Morgan and Grace. You got a little bit of that with sort of a familial connection with what's his name, JD and June, and you did even get some of that with Sarah, with family. And I feel like they're kind of trying to build a family thing with Strand and Baby Mo now. I don't know how that totally is going to work, but they're doing something there. It's definitely something curious and has brought interest and attention to me, so I'm very curious. But you got Morgan, who's pretty much wandering alone in the Texas wasteland at this point. However, while he's traveling, he gets cornered by a bunch of men on horseback who are revealed to be Dwight and Sherry. And, Morgan is happy to see them. They tell him that people need his help, and they bring him back to the stalkers' camp, because they're the ones working with the stalkers, like we saw at the end of episode 5. Now, Morgan tells him, look, I know the stalkers. I saw Arnold at the tower. I'm not helping Arnold do anything. However, Sherry says, Arnold, he's not the leader. There's a woman here that's the leader, and it's revealed that Alicia is the leader of the stalkers. And I guess Arnold is like a different faction of the stalkers who are not Alicia's people. So I guess it's revealed that Alicia summoned Dwight and Sherry to get Morgan because she needs help, as her people are suffering, and she believes Morgan can help her find a place safe for her people. Now, Morgan is reluctant, saying, look, I don't know how much help I can be. He's, like I said, he's kind of on that point where doesn't know if he can help anybody. However, while they're talking, you got people warning that a walker's coming by, and they go to investigate. You got Alicia's people who fire on the walker. However, Morgan warns them at the last minute that it's been contaminated. And while they're shooting at the walker, you got the walker who pretty much explodes, releasing all the radiation and everything into the air, forcing Morgan to get ready to run. And that's pretty much where this episode ends. Now, this was an interesting episode because there's definitely some things in here I liked. I liked that Morgan poisoned Strand. I liked to sit down and face to face with Morgan and Strand. I did like the whodunnit with Strand. Overall, I thought this was a pretty solid episode. However, I feel like there should have been I don't know, there was good tension, but I feel like for penultimate episode, up until the mid-season finale, I feel like there should have been just a tad bit more. But for what we got, I think it was decent. Teasing the Alicia story for the next episode was good. But like I said, I just feel like there could have been a tinge more that we could have gotten that would have made the episode better. But for what we did get, I think it is decent and works pretty well. I mean, it was fine. It could have been better. But it was still a decent episode with everything that they did. And definitely used good setup for this mid-season finale, along with things that could happen further on with season 7. So I definitely thought it was an okay, decent episode. Not amazing or great, but just an okay, decent episode. If I had to give this episode a grade, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Nothing higher, 7.5 out of 10. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about this episode in the comment section down below. So yeah, guys, that's my review of Fear the Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 7, The Portrait. As always, if you guys feel, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon there to get some more Fear the Walking Dead content from me moving forward. And go follow me on Instagram and Twitter, which is linked in that section of my YouTube channel. As always, been Vision Hero Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.